Welcome to the 15-ish minute coffee chat today with our guest Brenna McGowan, an email and caption copywriter and co-creator of the Content Bar. Today we're going to discuss lead magnets, Instagram, and copy. Oh my, and how they are used to nurture clients through email marketing.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
It's going to be an awesome show today because Brenna is an amazing person with so much knowledge to share. So excited to have her on today.
Yeah. A personal note, I love Brenna so much. Like, I can't even tell you. I think her and I have cried together. We've prayed together. We've done a lot of things together. And I just adore her. And I am so grateful that we found each other again in a Facebook group. So I just wanted to throw that in there. But I just wanted to recap last week. Ted Foster. I almost said Fauster. Hey, Ted. Sorry. You know, it's going to take me a while. What a great show.
Yeah, it was a great show. And if you missed last week, we talked about personal branding, and Ted specializes in helping people that have chronic illness. He himself has a chronic illness, and so he's helping people who have a chronic illness redesign their personal brands into something amazing that works for them. But the content applied literally to anyone and everyone. It was so good. So if you missed the conversation with Ted Foster, you can find it on either of our Facebook pages. Blogs going up soon, and then at the end of this month, we're going to announce something else that we have going on, which is kind of exciting.
We're so excited. Okay.
We just need one more thing to add to this show.
Right? Like, oh my gosh. Okay. And then we also want to mention, we are so excited to be a part of this AMC community group. We are the chapter leaders. I can't say but one, our fantastic founders, Moni Jefferson and Flossie Hall, created this great group for milspouse entrepreneurs. And I know I personally met a bunch of just amazing powerhouses. So I'm kind of excited to help lead the area that me and Anna are in, which is Fort Hood. So we obviously talk about we are milspouse.
Yes, milspouses.
So I'm going to quickly try to throw in the link.
Yeah, so
anybody wants to
listen,
talk about it.
If you're here local to Fort Hood, our first chapter meeting is happening at the end of this month, beginning of September. We changed the date. So it's going to be happening on September 4th. We're having just like a mixer, kind of like a get to know you kind of thing. So pop into that comment or the link that Selena just put into the comments and sign up for it. You do have to be an AMC member, but it's free to be an AMC member. They have both a free and paid membership. And the free membership offers a ton of stuff. So if you just want to test the waters and see what kind of benefits you might get from it, and if you just want to come hang out with us at our very first chapter meeting, it's going to be super fun because
Okay, I'm going to bring in Brenna's bio. I think we're having a time here. All right, go ahead, Anna. Let's talk about this amazing person who's coming on today.
Yeah, we're going to bring her on quickly today. Normally we chatter forever, but we're going to bring Brenna on quickly today because we've got so much good stuff that we're going to pull from her today. All right, so anyhow, let me tell you about it. So Brenna is an email and caption copywriter who helps creatives collect the confetti of their ideas and transform it into personality-filled, you so get me copy. She is the co-creator of the Content Bar, which is a monthly membership taking members from what do I post to an abundance of ideas, comments on posts, and messages in their DMs. Content Bar is pretty darn cool. You get images and post graphics and content to help you come up with content for your own social media. It's pretty awesome.
If you want to be a part of it. Yes, side note, tell them.
On a side note, just Lena and I were talking about it, and I said, I love Brenna's bio, but I have to tell you what it doesn't say in there is that she's an amazing email sales copywriter and an Instagram know-it-all. She is the woman to go to for Instagram. Yes. And Lena and I want to be just like her someday, if we ever aspire to that greatness. So
absolutely.
Let's bring Brenna in.
Let's bring Brenna on. Hi, Brenna.
Hi. How are you?
We are good. We are so excited. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm honored. Thank you.
Yeah. No. Again, I've known Brenna for quite a long time. Brenna and I have had many text messages, phone calls, Voxers, emails,
Zoom meetings,
Zoom. I don't know, everything.
Trello boards.
Oh my gosh.
That's the only problem is that sometimes with Selena are like, I don't know where we talked about this. Like, was it in Voxer? Was it in Zoom? Was it email? Was it Trello? I can't remember.
Right. No, totally.
Problem with too many organizational tools, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Drive? Did it go in the Trello board? Did you email it to me? Did you text it? Did you Voxer it?
Did you put it in Facebook Messenger?
Where communication and technology go wrong.
Oh man, no, absolutely. Well, why don't we just go ahead? Like you said, we have some great stuff, and I just want to spend more time with Brenna, sharing all the gold that she's going to be sharing today. She's done so many podcasts and interviews. Like she could probably do this in her sleep, like while also baking or cooking a turkey, like for Thanksgiving. Like this is her stuff. She knows. She knows. So.
And I want to start off to say to anyone who's watching, started. Oh wait, did I say something wrong?
Can you hear me? Oh, it's me. No, it's me. Hold on.
I can hear you, Brenna.
Okay, good. I was just going to say that a little about almost 2 years ago, November, I wouldn't even do video. And now, like, I do video, I do podcasts. So if you're someone who's scared to death and think, oh my gosh, I can't do this, you totally can. So
that's really funny that you say that, because we originally, you were scheduled for next Monday, and we asked you if you would move up a week specifically because we had a guest that called us and said, I can't go live. I can't do it. I'm terrified. I don't want to get on. I don't want to get on video. I can't even do 15 minutes, because we even promised we would keep it. It would be our first ever actual 15-minute show, and she wouldn't do it. So I love that you just said that, because it's almost like you were speaking directly to her. So guess
you just have to do it. It's frightening. And I actually will say, if you're going to do it for the first time, doing it like this in an interview, I'm still not. I had to record a video on my own for a summit a few months ago, and it was excruciating just trying to get through. But when it's just a conversation, even if you screw up, right, it's just not that, it just gets easier. So I think doing it in an interview style, whether it's just going live on Instagram, and I think once you realize, like, oh my gosh, like I made it through, you're like, I can totally do this again. And the good thing is, if you go live on Facebook or Instagram, maybe not something like this in an actual interview setting, but if you really hate it, you just don't upload it. There's been times where I'm like, nope, I said something dumb, and we're just going to pretend like that one didn't happen, right? So,
yes. I mean, my very first Facebook Live experience was ridiculous. It was, I tried to bring Selena on and couldn't figure out how to add a person.
I watched that one.
Yeah. And so, I'm literally holding her next to me having a conversation on my laptop.
But I feel like that's when people are like, okay, like this girl, she did it. And like, I hate to say it, but I like people who mess up. And I like people whose houses are dirty too. Like if your house is dirty, we're friends, right? I want to be able to like go to someone's house, don't clean for me. Like, don't even wipe the counters. I'm good. I just feel better about myself. So
words of wisdom. If your house is dirty and if you'll screw up in front of the camera, we're all friends.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that. I like that a lot. So just talking about messing up. For some reason, my AirPods decided not to work in the middle of Brenna talking, and I thought, oh no, Brenna's not talking. So you probably saw. I don't even know what my face looked like, because I was like, click, 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 click. So now my daughter, who has school out there, is going to be listening to us live. So. All right. Sorry. Thank you for switching.
Yes.
Okay.
So before we get too far into it, we are getting ready to start our show. So we're going to do our coffee cup selfie before we do anything else. Otherwise, we have to do it.
I think it's smart.
Yeah. Coffee cup selfie. So if you're watching, just remember we have a new hashtag. Wait, what? Oh, yeah.
I'm doing it for the gram. Because it's Brenna. Like, I gotta like take a picture like this and that. You know what I mean? So Brenna, if you have a drink of some sort, let's raise that bad boy up. And then, are we good? Are we okay? 1, 2, 3. Okay. We did it. Okay.
We did do it. Okay, so today's topic, we're super excited about today's topic. It is, wait, I'm going to show you what it is in just 1 minute. Today's topic is email marketing. Do you need it? This is kind of a lie. You know, Selena and I come up with a topic and then we start to work on the show and then things start to change and morph a little bit. So we are still talking about email marketing, but maybe not exactly how you might originally have thought about it.
Right.
But before we get into the actual topic, we always like to bring in our toolkit. And this toolkit specifically applies to our guest today because our toolkit today is lead magnets. So if you aren't familiar with what a lead magnet is, it's like a freebie. It's also known as a freebie, a download, a guide, just basically something that is it's an incentive for your clients to come to you. You're offering them something for free that they want. Usually it's like a PDF download or a checklist or a white paper or a video, something that's enticing them to come and look at it. So Brenna has an amazing lead magnet that's currently available. So Brenna, could you tell everybody kind of what your lead magnet is and where they can find it?
Yes. So back in the fall of last year, I was on a call with one of the top copywriters, Laura Belgray, and she was actually reviewing one of my emails in front of people. It was scary to have someone like that actually going over an email of mine. But what she said during this time where she was reading an email, which by the way was about getting peed on, but that's a whole nother subject. So as she was like reading this email, she said something about, here is your beautiful segue, as she got to the middle of my email. And a lot of people don't even realize what this is. And like a light bulb went off a little bit later, which was, I was too nervous to think of it at the moment, which is, so many people, when it comes, they don't understand how to use story in their emails to effectively build know, like, and trust and sell what they're selling in a non-sleazy and salesy way. And so at that point, I was like, no one, like, I joke around that, you know, like headlines or subject lines and calls to action are like the Beyonce of emails. But usually, like, the background dancer, what really makes the show is a segue or your transition sentence in your emails. And so I decided to do the other reason I did it, which is it's a good hint for anyone who's going to create a lead magnet, is that I was talking about something different than what everyone else was talking about, which has really made a big difference in this guide that I created. And so basically what it is, it's a guide that tells you exactly how to use segues in your emails to write these storytelling emails effectively. And when you use segues, you can basically talk about any story. And I'm talking about any story. It actually becomes a problem. Like, you start thinking of stories everywhere that you can write about. I won't even go there. So so basically it's a guide where I break down top copywriters, Laura Belgray being one of them, their emails, and show you how they use segues effectively. And then at the end of the guide, I have 10 segues that you can start using, 10 easy segues that you can start using today. And I'm actually, and by the way, Selena helped me design this freebie, and it's like fanfare. Everyone's like, okay, I love this. I love the information, but it's also like so darn pretty. So if I get my act together, I'm actually planning on expanding it a little bit with my segue framework and also adding some segues to that guide. So if you're on my list, you'll get the update as well. But it really is a great guide. And I can't tell you how many people I've had be like, you helped me write emails. So
it is. Brenna, we wanted to, because it is so good, like, regardless of how it looks, it is so much good stuff. Okay, one, we're dropping her link to go right to it. And then we're going to show you how easy it is, because we're actually going to go and sign up for Brenna's segue guide right now under a 10th email, because every email I have has signed up for the segue guide. Like, you know what I mean? So anyway, this is her link to the segue guide. Like, just go in my comment or Anna's comment, just go. It's easy. Brenna, we're going to show everybody how easy it is. We're going to click this link and it's going to bring us right over to here.
Yeah. So I actually, Selena, are you on?
No, this is you.
Oh, that's me. I'm like, wait a second. She has the same screen up as me. Okay. So yes, here we are on the Segue Guide. So just to kind of copy what Brenna was just saying, there was a one email in particular of Brenna's that she sent out that I remember very distinctly, and it was like when you found Jesus in the grocery store or something like that. Anyway, that was like such a funny starter to a story. I had to read the whole email, right? And that's what your segue thing is really about. So just so everybody knows, I hate giving out my email address because I hate spam email. So for anyone that's concerned about that, the way that email messaging works nowadays is not how it used to be. And I'm referring back to the early 2000s and even the late 90s, when if you put your name on an email list, you had like then thousands of pieces of spam mail. So nowadays, the programs they have, there is an actual like law about email addresses, and it's called the CAN-SPAM Act. So don't be afraid to put your first name here. I'm just going to sign up for it, Anna. Your email address, and my email address in case anybody wants to email me.
Right.
And then you literally just click it. And when I do that, she sends a subscription confirmation into my email box. And from there, I'm now on her list. I confirm that I want to be on the list. It's literally that easy. And now I'm going to get this awesome Brenna McGowan Segways lead magnet right into my inbox. I love it.
And you, not that I want you to, but you can unsubscribe. Like as soon as you get, no matter whose list you sign up for, you can go in and unsubscribe at any time, and they won't email you anymore. So if you're someone who's just trying to grab something, you totally can do that. But you can also use, some people use a promo, like a whole separate address for having promotions. Mm-hmm. Other people, there's this cool trick. I need to learn how to do it, but in Gmail, you can actually you can do like a plus and then your email address. There's a way to do it too, where email will actually segment your emails based on the email in your main inbox and put them under like a separate file. So that might be another live for a different time, but then you can have, I get too many emails and I start getting overwhelmed, but that's another great way to do it. So
that is a great way. So literally that simple to go get Brenna's Segue lead magnet. We highly recommend it. Both Selena showed it to me when she was designing it. And just like in terms of like, first of all, because I was super jelly that you and Laura Belgrave were like collaborating on something.
I don't think we're collaborating, although I haven't even told Selena yet. I just joined her mastermind. So,
oh my God.
So now we're going to be BFFs.
Yeah, she's kind of like a copywriting, I don't even know, you call her like the master, like the queen, I don't even know what you would call her, but she's doing amazing. Very clever woman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. Okay. So again, the whole point was we talked about Toolkit is that, you create a lead magnet. Oh, look. It's that easy, but it's a great way to add to your email list is by providing a lead magnet, which is what Brenna created. And so you take something of your zone of genius, you put it together, and then you just add it as, hey, if you want this, just sign up for my list. It's easy.
Yeah. So remember, Selena's got a lead magnet on her site as well. It's for websites. I'm working on my first one, but it's not ready yet. I tried to get it ready for this. I'm like, yeah, it's not happening. Because it does take some good time and thought. Just so you know, I mean, you're going to get all different varieties of quality of lead magnets, but I can tell you the two that we're talking about on this show, the one from Brenna, the one from Selena, are quality information. It is good content that you're not going to find anywhere else just by Googling something that you want to know.
Right.
So, okay. So moving on, we're ready to start our actual show now. So Selena, we totally spaced putting the timer on.
I did. I showed it like earlier.
Oh, we got
that. Yeah.
2.5 minutes left.
Well, we all know how this really goes.
Right.
Okay. I showed Brenna this backstage before we started, so she, took a laugh at us, but she's excited about it too. So, okay, we're bringing in, right? Let's do it.
Yeah. So so just to kind of backstory this, we're going to talk about a 3-step process, and I think that when Selena and I discussed this, first we got very literal, but second, I think maybe we were hungry. I don't know, because we started talking about what Brenna does, and she works a lot. She's an email copywriter, and she's very good at it. She writes sales emails. And second, she is largely on Instagram as her main focus for social media, which is an area that a lot of people are uncomfortable with. Instagram is not, it's different than Facebook. So, and usually they're one or the other. So in the combination of coming up with the two different things, we ended up talking about that funneling process of finding your client, bringing your client into your I guess your list is what we would say. And then what do you do once what do you do once you've got them there? And when I said the word funnel, then it translated to funnel cake. So here we have this graphic here with a literal funnel cake on it.
We are, right. And I think, so we're going to start with, the first step, right? And we use a carnival as just kind of what's the word, Brenna and Anna?
I don't know.
It's representing the internet and social media platforms, as we're going to the carnival, right? And this is where your ideal clients are hanging out. So I guess let's go with the first question, Anna.
Yeah. So our first question, which has to do with this, is why in the world, Brenna, can you tell us why in the world a business would want to be on IG? A lot of people have the assumption that IG is for pretty pictures, and that's basically it, but there's not going to be a good business opportunity there. Can you tell us a little bit about why a business might want to be on Instagram?
Absolutely. I don't have the exact stats, but I mean, the amount of people that follow a business account on Instagram, I think it's like 8 out of every 10 people are following some sort of business on Instagram. It's huge. And that's because when businesses are on Instagram and they do it well, it doesn't seem super businessy, right? It's really a place to go for personal connection. So the other thing is that I don't think Instagram's for every business. However, I mean, it is, if I'm not correct, I think it even beats Facebook at this point, even though they're owned by the same company, like the number one platform that everyone is on. So your ideal client most likely is hanging out on there. And by the way, Instagram is how Instagram has evolved, whether it's you find them through a hashtag, you find them by another mutual person, it's this really big collaborative networking, place that you can hang out and get to know your ideal client. And not only your ideal client, but find people that are like-minded. I can't tell you that I have probably even more than just people. It's the people that I've connected with that are in similar or complementing industries that I refer work to. They refer work to me. We collaborate. It's really an amazing way to reach people on a personal level. And, it's kind of amazing some of the conversations I've had in direct message alone. So it really is a place where you can get to, when it's done right, that you can expand your network and get in contact with your ideal client.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When you say done right, can you give us an example of the kind of things that would be considered done right with a business profile on Instagram?
Well, I would say first, since we're talking so much about business, is not having it be all about your business, right? It's really figuring out this kind of perfect way to finesse your business into your personal brand. And so I think first and foremost is that you're not a business on, for most of us, we're not a business on Instagram, we're a personal brand. And then our personal brand can tie in our business. So really figuring out a nice balance between talking about our business, but not being super businessy. So in terms of being done right, it is, thinking probably like the top thing that I do that I really try and make a point of do is really going out. Well, of course, creating quality content goes without saying. I don't care what platform you're on. You have to have some decent content. However, subpar content can be offset very easily by being human, being a good person, right? Sharing other people's stuff, being genuinely interested in others, commenting with, very thoughtful comments. These are the kind of things that spending time really thinking about others. I have something where, I talk about the flow of followers. My friend Reese helped me create a graphic for it because my graphics suck, as Selena would know. I'm not a graphic person, but she's like, let me help you fix your graphic. But basically what it is, it's this amazing thing. And it's the circle of life, no matter what it is the more you give, the more you receive. And Instagram is really like that. So really spending time, the more I kind of push attention away from me and onto others, it pushes it back to me. And that's not why I do it necessarily, but it is this amazing thing that happens on Instagram. And it's, this amazing opportunity to get in touch, besides when you want to throw your phone out the window, you're so tired of it. I don't think it's the perfect platform, but I love it. Or sometimes I don't want to be on it. However, it is a way to create an amazing opportunity for you and your business.
I love that. I love that when the way you described it, it's not a business page per se. It's a networking opportunity. And that's really what IG, I think, I call Instagram. I'll stop calling it IG just because, but that's what Instagram kind of brings to the table, where you can have a Facebook business page and it is literally just business posts going out, highlighting what your business is and what it does. But Instagram really does give you that opportunity to go hang out with who your potential clients might be. That's really what it's about. So, and we use the carnival thing just simply because social media can be so crazy. Like, how do you choose what platform? And once you're on there, there's a million different opportunities to do a million different things between stories and TV and video and and then you're talking about contents and posts and hashtags. It gets really confusing really fast. So thank you, Brenna. That was awesome. So, all right. So step 2, now you've gone to where your clients are at. You've created your IG business profile. You're doing it right. You are using good content. You're using very pretty pictures. And you're drawing in people that are like-minded, that are interested in what you're doing, and that have need maybe perhaps of whatever product or service you might be selling to them, but you're not actually selling at this point, okay? Or you are, but not like hard selling. All right, so step 2 then becomes enticing your client with a lead magnet, clever copy, or great graphics. Yes, so all right, so Selena, go for it.
Here's our question for Brenna. Can you give our audience 2 actionable strategies that they can use on Instagram this week? Oh, where'd she go? She's gone. She'll be back.
She's gonna come back. So
internet.
We should just mention. So Brenna's in California, where all the heavy fires are coming, and so we knew it was a possibility that we might lose her at some point.
Yes.
But just in case she doesn't come back, I think we're just gonna kind of continue on with the show. Yeah. And Selena and I, while we aren't experts on it, we can give a few little tips, maybe. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Wait, hold on. Let's give her just a minute, and we'll chit chat for just a second about this, right? I just want to recap. Step 1 is I'm gonna see if she texts us back and says, "Oh my gosh, my internet's down." She's like, her computer froze. Hold on, guys.
I love
phone us via phone. Okay, let's see if she can get back on via the phone. Okay, but recapping, just kind of, I think sometimes I like to break it down into such simple forms for people to understand about where your ideal clients are hanging out. And like I said, we use a carnival, but when you go to the carnival, it's I don't know where to go first. What ride do I go on? What's going to make me the happiest? Where am I going to find my joy? Right. And that joy is your ideal client, because you can go on a ride and be like, oh, I'm going to get this ice cream. And you're like, nope, not feeling it, and the ideal client is funnel cake. So you have to kind of work your way up to that person.
Yeah.
So, right. And I know we're talking about Instagram because honestly, if you don't follow Brenna, we're going to show her all the things. We're going to show you where you can find her. But your ideal client could be on YouTube. Your ideal client could be people that listen to podcasts. Your ideal client could be on Facebook. You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, I'm going to show what Anna has here. Oh, wait. I'm going to wait. You're signing in.
I'm signing in really quick just so that we can go into what Instagram looks like for everyone. And I'm actually going to go to Brenna's
Oh yeah, here, now we're ready. Oh no, waiting. Sorry, I'll let you put it in. I'm like, I feel like I need to.
Okay. So yes, so let's add this to the stream really quick. So here I am, and I am on Brenna's Instagram account. So just to kind of give you an idea of what we have on Instagram, you're going to have your profile picture. You're going to have your name, and for her, it's Brenna McGowan Co. And then underneath, you can see is just a very brief area where she is allowed to basically tell people a little bit about herself. And then there's one spot for a link. Okay, so you only get one link, and you cannot input links in your copy in Instagram. People are unable to click on links. This is something a lot of people, I think, don't know necessarily.
I think, yeah, they don't realize, but you know, and we talk about like, how can you even like get people on your email list from Instagram? Well, right here, there's many ways, but Brenna is so smart. She uses her bio to talk about all of the things, right? And so she's like, there's her Write Your Welcome series workshop. Yay, she's back, you guys.
Yay! I'm sorry. All of a sudden, like it kind of froze up, and then everything just like died. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. I'm sure it has something to do with like everyone home on the internet.
Sure. We were just, obviously, as you can see, we were showing off your Instagram profile and just how you utilize the bio to get people either on your list or on the Welcome Series workshop. So I guess this kind of will lead us in. We can leave it up. But the question, Brenna, real fast, was the 2 actionable strategies that our listeners can use on Instagram this week. What would you want to suggest?
Well, I think there's so many. I think the first one goes back to engaging and shouting out others, which I already mentioned. Like once a day on stories. I try and do it a couple times a day, but especially because stories kind of keep you, the more you post on the stories, it keeps you top of mind. It keeps you at the front of the line, if you will. Yeah. So what could you do? Whose post could you share? Could it be a funny meme? Could it be something educational? People tell me all the time that they love my stories. And I think, really? I think it's just because I'm sharing other people's content that I find interesting, which also kind of is an extension of me. So, engaging and shouting out others is absolutely one of the things that I would be doing on Instagram. The second thing I would do is really think about your calls to action. That's the way you create community and conversation is on your Instagram post by having really great calls to action. And I see this is probably one area I see where people mess up the most is that they really don't think about the reader on their calls to action. So I'll give you 3 quick ways to know if you're writing a good call to action. The first one is it easy for someone to respond? So, is it, I always think about people ask these really open-ended questions where they're like, well, how did you feel in the first grade? And you're just like, I have to think too much. Like my brain hurts even trying to come up with, with something to say. So really thinking about, okay, making it as something that someone can answer easily. The second part of that too is making it easy on the user. Could you give them A, B, C, or D? Could you give them a yes or no answer? Or option, this or that? By easily implementing some of these like quick tips, it's amazing that people don't mind if you say yes or no, do you love Instagram? They know right away and they don't mind typing in yes. And then you can go back and ask follow-up questions. So I know what some will say, oh my gosh, if you don't have quality answers, then it's not going to help the algorithm. But what I'm saying is make it easy on the person, then go ask a very pointed question, because then all of a sudden, then you're having a one-on-one conversation. You're not just shouting out into the abyss. You're in the conversation thread. And the third thing is going back to that is really thinking about the reader. Is this something that they are excited to answer? Is this something interesting to them? A lot of times I see calls to action like, or if you're ready to join my one-on-one coaching, and I'm thinking, no, social media is supposed to be social. No one is answering that they want to become part of your coaching program, even if they do, right? Like, even if that is the case, that's not how they're going to answer. So really think about who the reader is, make it easy on possible, and not make them not think too much. That's how you're going to get your engagement up. And it's funny, someone reached out to me, someone else had shouted at a post of mine about calls to action, and this this person reached out to me and asked me, like, what am I doing wrong? And I went and looked at her Instagram, and I gave her this quick tip. I said, try and do this next time. And I think she posted, and within 20 minutes, she had direct messaged me back. She's like, okay, I already have people answering. I'm like, that's the difference here. Like you really thought about the reader and you made it easy on them. And don't make people think too much on Instagram. It's the quickest way. This is a side note too. Do not have a big block of text. I can tell you that's the quickest way to get people out. Like you should be splitting up your text on Instagram, and really any online reading, emails, blogs, whatever you're doing, it should be every sentence or so should be its own paragraph. Maybe 2 sentences at the most. So
Anna, let's bring it back. I'm going to bring back in Brenna's IG bio or IG. So that way, let's scroll to one of her posts so we can show you what she means by that, Do
you have a favorite you want me to pick? Does it matter?
We can just do my one from yesterday, because yesterday's is a really quick one, although I typically am a long-winded, I was trying to, and this is a way where I used to segue very easily too. So this is a good example where I was trying to make fun of what's going on in things that used to be unacceptable are now acceptable, right? And these were like the 3 that came up on my head. So, and then my segue here is one thing that hasn't changed in 2020. So here I went from like a fun telling you what's going on to changing over into, this one is actually more salesy than I normally do, but I have a workshop coming up this Thursday for how to write your welcome series. So, but you'll see here too, and I want to go back to, I talked a lot about not being overly salesy or not that I talked a lot, but I have mentioned not to be overly salesy in your captions. Mm-hmm. And this is how I do it. It's called what I call the soft sell, which is here I'm mentioning what's coming up. I'm letting people know about the availability to work with me this Thursday, but that's not my main call to action. If you scroll down a little bit on my call to action is something about what's one thing that's happened, I think, in 2020 that's actually been a benefit during this pandemic. I don't know what I said, but I've had all kinds of answers, just like, I love not running my kids around. I love not, so it's not, I'm getting engagement. I've talked about my business. I've talked about the sale, but it's not my main call to action here.
Right.
Yeah, you can kind of see as I scroll down, reading books. I haven't figured it out. I'm trying to decide what I like, just slowing down. Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
This is great.
This is exactly it. Okay, we may be losing Brenna again. That's
okay. Can you hear me okay?
No, we can hear her, actually. We can hear her. And maybe it's just me.
No, I'm frozen on my side, but like I said,
No. You know what?
Sorry.
No, not at all.
Oh my gosh. I don't love in 2020 the technological problems, right?
Yes. It's a cute picture of your face. How about that? So,
okay. Well, you know what? Okay, we've talked about step 2. Brenna, that was awesome tips, and I hope you guys are all remembering those. You know what? I get nervous when I'm with Brenna and Anna because they're the copywriters. They're like word gurus, and I'm like word vomit. The wrong words.
Yeah. Well, just to recap. So step 1 was go to where your clients are hanging out. And we're talking specifically today about Instagram. Yep. Step 2 is Brenna just gave us 3 amazing tips, but we lost her again for a second. But the basic idea is that you're talking to your clients, you're enticing them with clever copy, with graphics, but the idea behind it is not a hard sell, but to socialize them. I mean, as Brenna said, that's why they call it social media. This is not your hard sell zone. This is where you're trying to let your clients get to know you and you're getting to know your clients so that you can speak their language and provide them with a desire basically to want to be your friend. They want to come and hang out with you. They want to know what you're offering. They want to partake of your product and service. And those are the first 2 steps. So
yeah, and then I'm going to mention, just to finish this section up, is, we talked about in her bio, she's back, you guys, I heard her. Get her back in there, Anna.
Yay, I'm at her. Here she goes.
All right, I'm on my phone now, so hopefully
No, hey.
True. I'm sorry.
No, not at all. Don't be sorry. I want to also segue. I'm using that word. I want to segue into talking about like if you don't have time, and I use it and I love it. But Brenna is a co-founder of the Content Bar, and I, like the just what comes in the monthly box blows my mind every time. And I tell Brenna this, like I love to support friends in the beginning, and then I'm like, okay, but I haven't stopped. You know what I mean? Because what Brenna and Audrey, the other founder, put together every month it's amazing. It's amazing, and it's a time saver. And I've been talking about this on my Facebook. It's just, you know, if you can't do it yourself, sure, you can do it. You can do all of it, right, Brenna? But if you don't have the time and you want to stay consistent, go join the Content Bar, and they're going to provide you with all this amazingness that will save time, that will let you do all the things that Brenna just said on IG, because they give you those fast prompts, those times. And it's, you know, I always laugh about people like, well, you could do it for free, or you could do it. I'm like, sure you can, but do you have the time?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Brenna,
I kind of say we do the thinking for you. So even if you don't use everything, just having, we have tons in there every month, but just even having that like a content calendar to help you like wrap your mind around like different ideas, what you could talk about, different angles, right? If you're someone who has a hard time coming up with stories or angles to go at and not sound like everyone else, it really is an amazing resource. And not only do we help with captions, we help with emails as well. And actually in September, we're starting off, we're going to be doing 2 email templates a month. So it's going to be really, really help you with your content. Although our doors have closed, so you can't join right now, but you can get on our wait list for when we open in November. So
I'm going to drop her website, and I'm just telling you guys all this again, not because like, I know I sit here and say how much I love Brenna, but I really, truly, her and Audrey have put together a great community as well. Like if you join them on Facebook, but just it's just something to think about. I mean, businesses can use this, restaurants, anything. I say restaurants because I do restaurant clients, but I mean, this is for anybody. And I think it really does help any social media manager kind of with their planning. I mean, oh yeah. And they also include a planner every month. I mean, seriously, Brenna just said they do everything for you.
Okay, so while Selena's dropping that into the comment section where you can go and find the Content Bar and then put it on your calendar to join in November when they open up again with all their new offerings. We're going to move into step 3. So we kind of recapped. We went to where our ideal client was. Now we've become their friend basically, or we're socializing with them in smart, creative ways with good graphic and good content, kind of all the things that Brenna talked about. And then now we're at step 3. And literally with step 3, this is where I think the majority of us get really stuck, right? So the idea behind this is we're wanting to bring them into another way that we can talk with them. And this is, we want them to sign up on our email list. Now that we have them on our email list, it literally, the question becomes, now what, Brenna? What do you do with somebody? Now they're on your email list. Have you just given yourself another thing to do that you weren't planning on doing because you just invited all these people to join your email list, and now you're like, great, now I have to come up with email content on top of Instagram content and Facebook content and every other content, plus keeping my sales page, and they want me to blog also, and you know, all these swirling bits and pieces. So we're at step 3, which is literally, now what, Brenna? What do you do with them? Now you've got them in your email list.
Well, there's a lot of things we can say on that. I would, first of all, we should be repurposing our content. So yes, that we do have all of the things, but it shouldn't be another thing. It should be an extension of what we're already doing. And I'm going to back up too and say, and this is where most people get it wrong. They spend time posting on Instagram. They spend time on Facebook, and they don't build their email list, and they're building their business on someone else's platform. You know, you're on rented land here. So I think changing your mind is thinking not, oh, I have another thing to do. Email should be number 1 on the list every week, because growing your email list, and believe me, I need to work on lead gen myself lately. So I understand what it is, but when I go back and start really when I stop with all the busyness and all the posting and all the content creation, when I go back to the core of what I'm doing, Amy Porterfield says the strength of your business is reflected in the growth of, or the size of your email list. That's not a direct quote, but it's close. So it's really so important to be emailing our people on a regular basis. So yes, now that they're on your list, I don't want people to be like, oh crap, I have another thing to do. This should be like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to figure out how to utilize this with the other content that I'm producing and make it easy on myself. So the first thing is you should be sending out a welcome series. Coincidentally, it just happens to work out that I am doing a welcome. I'm just telling everything today. On Thursday, I'm actually doing a workshop, the Write Your Welcome Series workshop, where I'm going to go through and tell you exactly what you need to put in 5 emails when someone joins your list. When someone joins your list, they are your welcome email is the most opened email out of any email you're going to send. Right. Only 50% of your competitors even have a welcome email. So if you have just one email that goes out when someone signs up for your list, you're already 50% ahead of your competition. So really figuring out sending out a set of emails that are strategic and personal when someone joins up for your list should be your priority. It's one of the assets everyone should have for their business. Once you write these emails once, they run on automation. They could last you for years, depending on what you're doing, maybe with some simple tweaks. So now that you're on your email list, get them on. And people who actually, someone who goes through a nurture series, I forget I think it's the Anutis group, they make 40% larger purchases than people that don't go through a welcome series. So it's really so important to have one. Yeah. Once you have your welcome series done, the other thing is you should be emailing your people at least weekly. And it's funny, people think, oh, I don't want to email my list too much. People are going to think I'm annoying, that I'm bugging them. And it's quite the opposite. The more you email people, the more that they know you, they like you, they trust you. They're used to seeing you in their inboxes. It keeps you top of mind. And quite honestly, if you are emailing them once a week and they really don't like you, they're going to unsubscribe and they're doing you a favor, right? And I tell myself that every time someone unsubscribes. I had like a mass unsubscribe a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, crap, like what did I say or do, right? And and I just had to go back to that core, you know what, they're not my people, and I'm going to find my people and pour into them. So just keep in mind that you're emailing people and at minimum once a month, but I really have to say, especially with how noisy online world has become, doing it once a week, but not overwhelming yourself. What can you take? What other content? For example, you guys do the 15-minute coffee chat. What could you say that's intriguing? I mean, you could literally have a 3-sentence email that teases someone to get them to the click that gets them over here. That's all it takes. It doesn't have to be overly complicated. So where can you find content that you can repurpose so that you can start building this? And it truly is, it compounds, because social, whether it's this live, we all have good intentions. Like there's so much going on. Just a simple reminder that, hey, we did our coffee chat this week, and then I might not even listen to it today, but I have a link on my email that I can go back to very easily. So really it goes back to thinking about the user. I say user, I work for a website development company. So I'm always I think of it in like UI and UX sometimes, but it really, what can we do to make it easy on people to consume our content? And sending them an email, you're actually doing them a favor.
Right. Yeah. I never thought of it like that. You know what I mean? Like, I think we constantly are like, oh, I'm overwhelming them, but you're right. It's like, yeah.
Well, also because I think a lot of times, so one of the things that I love about email marketing, when you say repurpose your content, is you can give a synopsis of what's happened during the week. So they don't have to constantly go back and look for things on your social media pages. So if you provide them almost like a summary wrap up, like, ta-da, here's what's happening this week, and with all the links included, because a lot of times I'll say, oh, I was on this one page and dang it, where did I see that? And I'm scrolling, and there's so much content, you can't find it again. Yeah. I've lost it. But with that email summary or that repurposing of content, the really important stuff that goes back out again via email, like you said, it's like, I know exactly where I can get it. It was in last week's email.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to mention here, though, because is also, though, in that same respect, keep your calls to action very clear. One call to action. So if you're going to do a wrap up email, don't be like, oh, I'm going to sell my course and I want them to reply. Like, that wrap up email maybe is your email. And then maybe you send out a second email that week that is your sales email. So really trying to think. I see so many times that the day of the newsletter is dead, right? Like, no one wants this long newsletter. They want quick information that they can consume. So doing something like a wrap up, because it has like an overarching theme. I love doing something like that. But what I see people doing is trying to like throw everything into one email. I actually had one client I worked with this, and they were a yoga studio, and they had so much that goes on every month. And I was like, okay, yeah, maybe we can send this out once, but then we need to go back weekly and remind people of the different sections here, right? Like, so even keeping it really easy to consume, even in our emails, so that it's better to send out, and this is where most people's thinking isn't, I don't want to say incorrect, but where it needs to be shifted is it's better to send out more emails with less information. I promise people will read it more. They will engage more. They will click through more when you do this.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, Selena and I talk about this all the time. I read, like, I like to read everything that's in the email. Selena likes to skim. And so if something comes and it's really content heavy, sometimes I'll just put it aside and say, I don't have time for this right now. You know, so, but you're right. Yes, I think multiple emails with small snippets, it's kind of like social media content, you know, providing them snippets of information that's digestible and quick, because our world moves really fast these days.
No, agreed. I do want to bring up one point. So because, and I remember sharing this with Brenna, but you know, if you think, you know, email marketing is not the thing, one of my new clients that I do email marketing for, and I shared it with Brenna, and I was like, so, you know, their list is like, I think they have 2,500 people on the list. And I shared with Brenna, I was like, Brenna, like my first email that went out, it had a like 47% open rate. And, you know, Brenna and I were like, that's exciting, because sometimes you're not going to get that many eyeballs on your social media content organically, but
no, you're getting like a fraction. I think it's like 2 to 6% is your,
right.
That's why you can repurpose a lot in your email too, because not everyone's seeing everything.
Yes.
They think they are, but they're really not. So,
And then just for analytics purpose, Brenna, can you tell us, like, for people that are looking at things like open rates and click-through rates, like, what's a standard open rate where people can feel good about the content that they're getting, and click-through rate for links that you might put into an email? What are you looking for as an email when you do that email marketing? What kind of number?
So 15% would be a low average, you know, but then again, even at 15%, if only, you know, 5% of your Instagram people or your Facebook people are even seeing it, you've already tripled it. So even if you're at the low, I would say if you're at 15%, you know, we want to try and look for ways to get that number up, but it's not a bad number. 30% is a high average. If you have 30% on average, you're rocking it pretty much, you know. And so sometimes people hear, oh my god, and like Selena, you got 40%. Like, those are awesome, but don't, if you're someone who's like, I'm only getting 20%, you're doing great at 20. You know, 20% is a really, really good average. So click-through rates are like 1 to 3%. I think too, it depends on what you're trying to get them to click through to.
Yeah.
But so much of this is testing. So if you're not getting, you know, if you're not getting 1%, okay, what can I tweak in these emails? You know, so really it's like, what could I tweak to get someone to click on that? Is it something that's not interesting? Am I not posing it am I giving, I see a lot of times where people give all of the information and then say, well, now click through to my blog. Like, no, you already told them what the whole blog's about. You have to teach. Yeah, I always say, like, drama and curiosity is how we all run, like, whether we want to admit it or not. So
love that.
And then, and the same thing goes for our subject lines. We're trying to get our subject lines open. Is where can you invoke curiosity, something that breaks up a pattern, you know? And I don't mind a good how-to if it's something that, like, you know, 3 steps to get more people to open your Instagram or to read your Instagram. My people would probably open that because it's something that they're interested in. But doing things like that, people don't want more information. They think we our smart brain thinks we want more education, but we really don't. We want to be entertained. We want to close loops. We're really story-driven people, whether, you know, we recognize it or not. So where can you figure out ways to invoke some of that curiosity, drama, storytelling amongst your emails. So, but yeah, that's a long way of saying, I'm very long-winded sometimes. It's a long way of saying is like 15 to 30% are like averages. If you're getting above 30%, like Selena did on that, like she's like knocking it out of the park. And then if your click-through rates, if you're getting 1 to 3%, you're doing pretty good.
I love that because I think a lot of people see the numbers 20% or 22% and they're like, oh my gosh, this is a waste of my time. So I think that's super important to just recognize that even that percentage and that your social media, you might be even getting a lower number of people that are seeing your social media posts. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you, Brenna. That was super helpful. So, okay. So let's just recap really quick. First of all, I have to put this in there because I thought this was super funny. So John came back in and says, Competent Bar seems like a nice place to sit with a client over a cup of coffee.
Or a glass of wine. I mean, you got to go. You got to go over there. You got to get on the waiting list so you can get into the next time that they're letting people in. But
yes. And then we have somebody that's stalking you. I hope you know this woman.
Jackie. I love Jackie. Jackie's actually one of our new members at the Content Bar. And I'm super excited.
Yay, Jackie, welcome to the Content Bar. Anyway, just wanted to throw in a couple of comments there from some of our listeners that have been on with us today. But okay, so just recapping the three. Selena, will you throw that 3-part graphic up?
Yes.
And there's so much more in what Brenna has said today in terms of all the different things that you can actually do with your email list and on Instagram. But just kind of recapping. So we're going to where our ideal client is hanging out, which is on Instagram. And then we're building that relationship with them and we're all eating funnel cake together, guys. We're having a big old fat bite, or you can have an elephant ear if that's what you prefer, or cotton candy, or whatever it is that's your preferred, like, tasty treat at the carnival of social media. But with the idea that you're building a relationship with them and then you bring them into your email list because, and I just want to reiterate this because I think it's so important what Brenna said. She called social media platforms rented land. And I love that term because it's true. At any point in time, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, they can take and change and remove and, be gone, I guess. So it is rented land. You don't have control over what they're doing or what they're going to do with your profile or your list or anything that you think belongs to you. It does not. So your email list now becomes yours, and a great way to now bring those people, let them get to know you better. And then I'm not going to recap all the different things that Brenna said as far as like what we can do with our email list. But Selena had put in a couple of really good ones. So just to remind everyone, these are Instagram. I'm sorry. So send out a welcome series.
Yeah. Email
your list weekly. Keep a clear call to action, and don't forget drama and curiosity. I think those are like 4 awesome tips, like quick and dirty, awesome tips that we can do for our email list.
No, absolutely. And then we did talk about, it's so funny. I'm just bringing this up. We always ask our guests like, oh, do you have a struggle bus? But we're not doing that today because Brenna has like literally helped everybody that could be struggling. So we're not even gonna ask that, but we want to, hold on, let me, okay. Yeah. We want to make sure we're going to share where you can find Brenna. We'll have Brenna tell everybody where you can find her. And you can find her everywhere, right, Brenna? But go ahead, share with everybody where they can find you.
Actually, Slee, you're going to be so proud of me. I was going to text you over the weekend. So you can find me. And now I can't see because I'm on my phone. So I've been working on rebranding myself. And if you can find me on my business name, which is The Social Rescue. But to make life easier, and I don't know why I didn't do this, as I'm going to someday get my new website up. You can also go to BrennaMcGowan.co and it will take you to my website. I forwarded all by myself on GoDaddy this week.
I'm so excited for you.
I don't know why I didn't do this already. I'm like, it's so confusing. I'm like, at least just forward it. So you can find me everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, BrennaMcGowan.co, Brenna McGowan Co. And then for the Content Bar is the ContentBar.co. So not com, co, because couldn't get the comms for some of them. But yeah, so this is where, and you have everywhere where I'm hanging out.
Yes.
And then, of course, my segue guide, too. If you go to my website, you'll be able to get it from there as well.
Perfect. And then also find her on LinkedIn, guys. She's going to make that kind of her new place, too. So
yeah,
go connect with her there.
I'm liking LinkedIn these days. So I need to hang out a little bit more over there as well. But
no.
Selena also helped me with my header. Thank you, Selena. It was funny. I was on someone's Facebook group, and he's really big on LinkedIn. And he's like, "Oh yeah, like I tagged you. People are sharing it on LinkedIn." I'm like, "Oh, thank God!" I said, because my profile was embarrassing last week, so I'm glad that it must have been like the Lord telling me, like,
right,
or you go on and look really bad. So
right.
And that goes to show too, like, like done is better than perfect. Like getting your name out there, like there's so many things I want to fix and do, but like just get the content out there. You figure out, just send the email. These things don't have to be perfect. Like I said, people like your dirty house, right? They like seeing that you're not perfect. So figure out what that is. Don't be unprofessional, but go ahead and do it anyway.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yes, I love it didn't used to be this way, right? You had to have your professional self and then your personal side, and you kept them very separated. And that's changed now, where so much of who you are is now part of what your business is, especially for entrepreneurs that are like either soloing it or just have a couple of employees and the super small business side of things. So, okay. So we just want to remind everyone, go check them out. The Content Bar, which opens again in November. And then get Brenna's Segue download, which is in our comments here on the show.
Yes.
And then we also love to remind people that Coffee Cup sponsors are always appreciated here. And then our call to action today, because it's important to have that call to action. All we want you to do is we want you to drop your Instagram handle in our comments so that we can go check out your profile and follow you. And see if we can't start to develop that relationship that Brenna's talking about and help each other out in that way. Share content. Remember, share content and build your online profile. See, John's chitter-chattery today, but he even came in and said, I need a bigger online presence. So this is the way to do it.
I know. I love it.
Yeah.
Yes, no. And then Brenna, again, thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. It was so much
fun.
Fun chatting with you guys. Thank you.
No, absolutely. And then, so next week we are having a amazing guest as well. We're so fortunate. How do we keep getting guests like Brenna? But next week we have Flossie Hall, who we spoke about earlier, consultant, business strategist, public speaker, co-founder, and all-around amazing entrepreneur. So anyway, again, if you're hungry for funnel cake now, because we've had a great hour conversation with Brenna, let's do it. And thank you, Nikki, for your comment. I love it.
Yes.
But all right, we will see you guys next week. Thanks again, Brenna. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.